This is the plaintiff, Chandra. She says she was hired by the defendant to be chief of staff at his sports entertainment agency. And the guy lost his cool and said vulgar things to her. He made her feel very uncomfortable. She left that company and is suing him for the $8,000 she says she's owed. This is the defendant, Scott McZeal. He says the plaintiff left him high and dry on the very event she was hired to plan, and she wants $8 grand? Please. This is nothing more than an attempted money grab, claiming he harassed her, which he did not, and he owes nothing. He's accused of stiffing a worker. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $8,000 for tortious interference of business.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she was hired by the defendant to run a sports entertainment company, but he made her feel very uncomfortable, ultimately ended up quitting, says he owes her money. But the defendant says the woman left him high and dry on an event she was supposed to plan, so he owes her Zippo. It's the case of too close for discomfort.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Chandra, you are suing Mr. McZeal and Suite 2112, LLC, his company, for $8,000, $1,290.25 in wages.
Yes.
And the rest of it in harassment and punitive damages to get us to that statutory maximum. You have a counterclaim against her for, there's a surprise, $8,000 for tortious interference with business. Let me hear from you first, Ms. Chandra. What is this about?
I met Scott about 17 years ago. He was the CEO of an online magazine by the name of The Urban Flavor. I was the editor-in-chief of the magazine for about 2 years. We parted ways. It was on good terms. We had a relatively good working relationship. I, in the meantime, went on with my career, but I suffered from some severe medical issues, which rendered me disabled. I had a brain aneurysm. I had a stroke on the operating table. I have multiple myeloma cancer. I had a tumor in my spine, and now I have a rod in my back. So I've had a lot of different issues. Scott called me out of the blue in April asking me if I wanted a job. And I have sorely missed working, being on disability. And I said that I would do it. He offered me to be the chief of staff of his startup company. I was to basically do relationship management for him.
What does the company do?
It is a sports and talent, like an entertainment agency.
All right, so you're going to get paid how much a month?
$1,000 per month.
And you're supposed to work how many hours for that?
Well, we didn't determine how many hours I was going to work. And that actually was a big mistake because I end up working some days like 15, 16 hours a day. I still go to chemotherapy every week on Tuesdays. And it was times that he even called me at 3:15 in the morning saying, we have to get to work. And it really put into perspective for me that, yes, I am disabled and I cannot handle such a workload.
Well, you certainly can't handle a 3:15 in the morning phone call when you're on chemotherapy. You're still getting treatments. No, that's,
Exactly.
There's work and then there's work. But in any event, let me just ask you what happens. You start working and do you get paid?
No, I never got paid.
Okay.
I started working. Initially, we were trying to solicit new clients. And then about 2 weeks into working together, he changed his mind and said, I want to have a launch party to present the Suite 2112 to the world, essentially.
Okay.
So he told me, I want you to now focus primarily on this.
Okay.
And so I started.
Where was the party going to be?
In West Palm Beach, Florida.
Where, though?
Well, that's the thing. I was looking for venues, and I was looking at mansions that he wanted to rent out and essentially pass them off as his own home. And I researched different equipment like tables, chairs. I worked with the chef. I worked with the bartender. The bartender is a witness actually of mine. Scott, he sent out the invitations. And as they confirmed, he would text it to me, and then I would keep a tally of them.
Okay.
So the confirmed list was upward of 300 people. The thing is he was looking for sponsorship or partnership from big name companies to pay for the event because
to launch his business.
Exactly, because I was doing the research for it, and the budget, it was close to $20,000 to pull off this sort of a high class event that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and go on.
Actually, you know what? Can I make one more thing?
Sure.
I wanted to say one more thing about the proposals that he was sending out to these companies. He was telling them outlandish things like he represented the biggest names in the industry. He has no clients.
Okay. So now there's a party, and the party's X amount of time away. You've now been working a month and 9 days. You have not been paid, and what happens?
Basically, 2 days before the event, I still had not had flight information. We still have not confirmed the venue. We still had no funding whatsoever. His position was he was not going to spend any money out of his own pocket for this party. The discussion of my flights, because I live in Kentucky, my flights going down to there, because I asked him specifically, do you need me at this party? He says, yes, I need you there to be a body woman for me, essentially to stand by him throughout the whole party, to talk to guests, keep him on task, and to keep other folks from interfering with talking to him. And yes, that is because he has future ambitions of running for president. So he wanted to present himself as being presidential. So basically, when the subject of my flight came up, he sent me a text message, and the text messages were, actually, why can't you get your man to buy you your flight? And I responded, not his responsibility. He's already concerned that I have not gotten paid yet, so he's definitely not going for that. Then Scott's responded, his woman is all his responsibility. I'm willing to ask my friend, but you're not willing to ask the man who is you?
Oh, my goodness.
And then he said, I got to pitch your man on why he should hold down his woman. And after those text messages, I called him and I told him, look, you have crossed the line. It is a point of no return. I am not working with you anymore. So
did the party happen?
Then the next day is the party, and that's where my witness comes in, because she actually attended the party.
Well, let me hear from your witness. Okay, what is your name?
Lakeitha McZill.
Are you related to Mr. McZill?
From what I understand, I am a distant cousin from his father's side.
Okay. Did you know him before the party?
I had spoken with him a couple of times online. 2 weeks before the party was the first I had spoken to him in a few years.
Okay, so you went to the party, and where was the party held?
It started out at the clubhouse of the community that his mother lived in, and moved to a second location, which was an art studio.
Go on.
Well, I can't really call it a party.
Okay, why not?
Because there was no party. There was a get-together of about, at the height of it, 10 to 15 people.
Okay.
I definitely attended. I live in Houston, Texas. I paid for my own flight out there under the assumption that it was this grand party that I was going to be able to make a couple of grand from, and of course recoup my own personal costs getting there.
Make a couple of grand from doing what? Were you going to work at the party?
Bartending the party.
Oh, you were going to bartend the party. So you bankrolled your own trip, thinking I'll make the money, as a bartender. And what had you been told by him the party would look like?
It fluctuated between 150 to 300 guests, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, Mr. McZill, let me talk to you. You were starting what kind of a business?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for your time. We are a sports and entertainment agency. We represent NBA, NFL, MLB, no NHL, actors, actresses, comedians, supermodels. It really ranges the gamut.
How many clients do you have?
Right now, we have 14 to 17, but we're unloading about 7 to 10 more, and that's going to even grow a lot more.
Okay, the 14 to 17 that you got when? Because according to Ms. Chandra, you didn't have any, and you were doing a launch party. Yeah. So when did you get the clients?
Chandra actually, number one, I got the clients. It's confidential matter, so I'm working with lawyers right now. So I didn't apprise Chandra of anything because it's a legal matter. I didn't make her privy to the contracts because she was an administrative assistant intern, so I didn't really see the need to.
Okay. So did you hire her to work for you?
So I was in and out of hospitals. I deal with mental health issues, just like Chandra, ranging from ADHD to bipolar and depression. And so, I've been trying to get my levels right as far as my medication. In the midst of that, I did reach out because I was starting my company, but I was heavily medicated too. And I feel somewhat taken advantage of because she knew that I was in and out of hospitals. She's been in and out of hospitals, but we did talk around it. I asked Chandra on several times. I'm a lawyer, so I wanted an agreement. Roughly 4 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks after I asked for that agreement, she finally sent it, just a draft. I never got even a chance to look at it or send it to my lawyers. We were just talking about a role.
Okay, I'm confused, though, because in your answer to the complaint, your argument is not that you didn't hire her, but that you agreed to pay her $500 a month and not $1,000 a month. So which is it?
What we had talked about was treating her like I do my interns, which is $500 a month, 3 months, and then we can figure out her role at that point in time.
You're a lawyer. You commented that you were a lawyer. Have you ever practiced law?
No, ma'am. I'm a non-practicing attorney.
Got it. Yeah. Well, that's the best kind. But anyway, talk to me about this party that she was helping you to plan.
Yeah, absolutely, Your Honor. So basically what I wanted to do was, number one, I work with a lot of billionaires and athletes and entertainers. So what I wanted to do was really marry the concept of a lot of these entertainers. They need financing. So I just really wanted to plug two communities together that really had an admiration for each other. And I really wanted to help. A lot of my clients are African Americans, so really what I was trying to do was kind of help them get financing that they would never get, and that was really the goal. This wasn't a launch party, anything like that. It started off being something that was going to be an intimate affair, but I wanted strategically to open that up to the community so that my community could be inspired by seeing athletes, entertainers, billionaires, and really.
Right. But were they at your party?
Well, that was the issue when Chandra was she was the quote unquote event manager, right? Or managing the event. So she had access.
I thought she wasn't even employed, you said.
She was doing projects for me. I mean, we had no agreement. So, but what I felt was we were going to get to an agreement. We just hadn't gotten to it.
Okay, but I don't understand then. Why is she already working? Agreement comes first and working comes later. You said she had sent you something, but you never got around to showing it to your lawyers. Where's the something she sent you?
I have it in my email, but it was basically kind of
Ms.
like a standard.
Chandra, do you have anything that you sent over to him regarding your employment?
Yes, I
saw a blank form. It didn't have anything written on it, including the price. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay, that doesn't do me much good. Right. So tell me, this party was supposed to have, according to Chandra, was supposed to have like 300 people. What ended up happening?
So what ended up happening was roughly 75 to 100 showed up because we didn't have an event manager. The event venue fell through. The caterer fell through, which was Chandra's responsibility.
Why didn't you have an event manager?
That was Chandra's role.
I'm sorry. If she's still not employed by you, but that was her role, to be your event manager, why didn't you fly her in?
I did. I actually bought her ticket.
When did you buy her a ticket?
The day before the event.
Right. And, so she asked you, hey, I still haven't heard about how you're flying me in. What's going on? And she says that you said to her, why don't you have the man who's you buy you a ticket? Did you do that?
I did say, Your Honor, I did say that. And sometimes, as far as mental health issues, sometimes you don't say the right thing. And sometimes, listen.
Okay, but why didn't you just buy her? Okay, if this was a business event, by the time you did it, she was already done with you and had quit. So why didn't you buy her a ticket in a timely fashion and tell her, yeah, here's your ticket? Instead you tell her, no, pay for your own ticket. Get your man to do it. The guy who's you to do it. Of course she was going to quit and not come. So are you blaming the caterer bailing and all these? I think they bailed because they weren't paid, because they don't know anything about whether she's flying in 5 days before. How is her not flying in 5 days before going to stop the caterer from catering?
Well, she was the primary contact.
What difference does it make that she's a primary contact? Pick up the phone and call the caterer.
It made a lot of difference because she was the only one communicating. I wasn't doing that. I was working on the invitations.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that she hired a caterer?
She did talk to Chef.
Okay. Did you hire a caterer, Ms. Chandra?
Your Honor, the caterer is actually Scott McZill's mother's best friend.
Oh, so she didn't hire the caterer. You did.
No, right. That's how I got the information.
So why would they bail? Because they know how to reach you. So why would they bail just because she wasn't working for you?
Well, like I said, she was the primary. I wasn't talking.
Calling her the primary contact is like, it does not answer my question. The party should still go on. And then you got somebody else handling her duties. That's how it works. But you're suggesting that the party that was going to have 300 billionaires, celebrities, and athletes and all this, that it didn't happen because she didn't fly in. She didn't fly in because you told her to get the guy sleeping with her to fly her in instead of flying her in to be the manager. You hadn't paid her anything yet. She'd done all this work and hadn't gotten one penny. But what I'm trying to understand is how on earth that would cause your caterer not to show up. And now we hear the caterer is uniquely connected to you. So that's not why a caterer didn't show up.
I do want to mention, I feel like I'm being attacked for being an entrepreneur and being creative and trying to create opportunities for people.
What you're being sued for is the $1,290.25 she says she has earned by working for you, and then also harassment and punitive damages. So I guess, yes, you are being attacked. And then you're suing her for tortious interference of business. So let me just ask you, how did she, in a tortious fashion, interfere with your business?
Yes, ma'am. So the party was supposed to be co-hosted by former NBA player. He had some just legal challenges. And what Chandra did independently was put in front of Mr. an agreement, and she actually signed my name. I never gave her power of attorney at all.
That's not true.
So she put me into a $10,000 agreement.
Okay, you tell me your side of that, Chandra.
That's not true. He told me that he was going to be the co-host for the event. He told me to write a letter basically saying a personal appearance letter to give to his probation officer so he can have permission to travel to Florida to attend the event, to go ahead and send that. And I signed my name. I didn't forge Scott McZill's.
How can you sign your name? You're not a representative of the company.
So, but that's not a fraud. If you told her to do that and sign her name, then she signed her name. You said she signed your name. You said she signed your name.
I never signed his name.
I never told her to get to any agreement on behalf of me.
So is this something you're getting sued for, that $10,000?
Yes, he wants his money.
Yeah.
I'm now into agreement with him because of Chandra.
All right, folks, I'm gonna really terminate the agreement between you two and bring this home. I don't find that there's harassment or punitive damages or tortious interference of business for anybody here. I do find that she's entitled to wages. Even at $1,000, it would be under what is legal in terms of minimum wage. But I also believe her when she says that you agreed to that, because you've kind of been all over the map. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,290.25.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. She's going to get $1,290 from the defendant, not the $8,000 she was seeking. Mr. McZeal, what are you thinking? You got a $10,000 lawsuit against you. Now you've just a judgment for $1,290 against you from the judge.
Well, listen, I have some of the best lawyers in the world that work for me, so I'm not worried about that. For $1,200 to never have to talk to Chandra again, or never have to see her face or get out of my life, that's actually a deal. And I want to thank you, the People's Court, as well as I want to thank Jesus Christ, so that I never have to deal with her. So thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Okay, very good. I think you put that to a close. All right, Chandra, let me ask you how you feel about this. You're not going to get the $8,000 you wanted, but you do get something, and it's pretty significant.
I do.
Significant. What do you think?
I'm glad that I am getting paid the wages. I would have liked the judge to hear some of the harassing things that he said to me, threatening me, saying racist things to me, sexist things to me, talking about my disability. And I'm glad that I hope he will stop contacting me. So I hope this puts it to an end.
Well, I think it has. So, look, good luck to you. Congratulations, $1,290.
Okay, Doug, you can always go to court. We know that, right? You can also do something else in a lot of states. If somebody owes you wages, if you have a state labor commission, and most states do, go to them first because they may be able to work it out without the hassle of court.
I was wondering if my friend can file a claim against her previous landlord for keeping her deposit for having bed bugs. The bed bugs were there before she moved in about 4 years ago.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you saying she lived 4 years with bed bugs?
Yes. I don't know how anybody manages that. That can't be very comfortable. Can't get a good night's sleep.
No. My answer is yes. You can lodge a suit against the landlord and get your money back.
To recover your security.
To recover your security, because something like saying, hey, you brought bed bugs in here,
right.
How on earth are you going to prove that?
Yeah, right. Whose fault is it that their bed bugs are there? Maybe it's the landlord's fault. I don't know.
Who knows? And it could be the apartment next door's fault. So unless the landlord is in a position to prove that they brought the bed bugs in and didn't do something about it,
right?
And the something would be to bomb the bed bugs, and so I would need to know more. But unless the landlord has, hey, ruined all this furniture, it ruined this, the place was furnished, and there's no one for miles around, I would have to know facts that.
Do you think you need expert testimony to prove a case like that?
Well, I don't think you can get it.
Right.
The bed bugs know where they came from, and the bed bugs ain't talking.